Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another GCrypto video. I'm your host Seth, and in today's video I wanted to talk a little bit more about a game that I just did a recent video on, Gods Unchained. So like I said in my last video, I talked about Gods Unchained, my first week, my experience in the game, how much I was enjoying it. I talked about sort of some of the overarching strategies and things like that that I had found that had brought me a lot of success in the matches. And I think right now I have something like a 70% win rate, so not that great, not that bad either. But I have not spent any money on this game. I have not bought any packs. I have not, traded any cards yet. I've only played for free and gotten the packs and the rewards from leveling up. And so far, I've come across a couple of things. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the 5 best features that I have found to look for in cards. Now, like I said in my last video, you guys, I've been enjoying the hell out of this game, and I'm going to be making some more content coming up about this game, some more specific tips, tricks, best cards to look for, that sort of thing, strategies, and overall deck builds. So make sure to like and subscribe if you guys want to see more content about Gods Unchained. But moving on into the video.
Moving on.
So like I said, there were a couple of features that I've noticed over the course of my time in Gods Unchained that really stand out as the ones that you want to look for in your cards. And so the first one that I have found that I really like and that I think every deck, and pretty much every deck I've come across has, is creatures with Frontline. Now what Frontline is basically it means that as long as there is a creature with Frontline on the field of play, other creatures cannot attack any other creatures except that creature with Frontline. It basically means kind of what it says. They're the front line of defense in your deck, and they protect your god and any of your other creatures from getting hit. If you don't have anything else on the field that has Frontline, other creatures, opposing creatures, are free to attack your god and attack any creature they want. But if you have a creature with Frontline, they have to be the target of other creatures' attacks.
Bring it, bitch.
Now there are a few features and things like that, like Flank, that we'll get into later, that can bypass creatures with Frontline, but by and large, Frontline is one of the most important features to have in cards. It means that your god is protected and your other creatures are protected. And when you have creatures with Frontline, you can really do a good job of stacking sort of other creatures that have awesome secondary abilities and protecting them with that creature with Frontline. Just a really great feature overall to look for. When I'm looking at creatures that have Frontline, one of the things that I tend to look for is creatures that have higher defense, because the enemy creatures are forced to attack that creature, and so they need to have a lot of hit points in order to stand up to that punishment. For example, there's 2 cards that are mana cost 6. There's Hired Muscle and Minotaur Phalanx. I always go with the Minotaur Phalanx because they have 4 attack but 8 defense, whereas the Hired Muscle has 5 attack but only 6 defense. And that could mean the difference between one extra creature that gets taken out by that Minotaur Phalanx because they're having to attack it, right? So each time a creature attacks, the Frontline creature does the damage on their card to that attacking creature. So you can take out a lot of creatures very quickly with a single card. And that's what I look for. So bonus tip for you guys when picking creatures with Frontline. The next feature that I look for a lot, and that is an incredibly handy feature to have, is Protected. Now, Protected, what it basically does is it stops one incoming source of damage from an opposing creature. So it comes in huge when you really need to get a creature off the field. Like one of the most popular cards that I see a lot of is called the Raid Reveler. Really great card. When you put it on the field, it automatically gets protected if your enemy has a creature on the opposing side of the field that has something really bad, like Deadly, for instance. You can use that ally of yours, that creature that has Protected, to attack that creature with Deadly, and they won't get damaged, but you in turn damage them. So you save your own creature from that deadly damage and keep that creature in play for longer. So Protected is huge, and it is a pain in the ass. It works really, really well. There's whole decks that are built around getting as many creatures protected as possible. So very powerful feature, definitely one that you want to have in your deck. The next feature, which I think I've mentioned already a couple of times that you want to look for that's really powerful, is Deadly. A great example of a Deadly card that you get that's sort of just neutral and common is the Poison Peddler. It's a 4 cost, 4 mana, 1/4 card, but it has Deadly. And the beauty of it is even 1 point of damage from a creature with Deadly just destroys any opposing creature. So Deadly is really, really handy when, say for example, you're going up against an enemy card that has like really high defense, really high offense. You can just sacrifice your one creature with Deadly to go do 1 point of damage, but it kills that creature no matter what, no matter how many hit points they have left. I've also used it a lot to take out a lot of those like low cost but high defense cards, low attack cards like the Portable Fortress and the Rampart. Both of those have like 0 attack but 6 or 8 defense. And with 1 strike from a deadly creature, you can completely get rid of it and then free up all your other creatures to attack the enemy's god. So incredibly handy feature, definitely one to look for. Look out for that one. The next feature that you want to look for is armor. Now I gotta confess, I don't have any creatures in my deck with armor yet. It basically creates a threshold of damage that you have to overcome in order to do any damage to that creature's health. So if a creature has 2 armor, right, you have to be able to do at least 3 damage before you start cutting into that creature's defense. And not only that, but it's not cumulative. So if one creature attacks a creature with armor and does 2 damage, and then another creature has a 2 attack and attacks that same creature with armor, they don't receive any damage. It doesn't, stack up. You have to have a single attack come up with more than that 2 armor damage in order to take any hit points away from the creature with armor. They are colossal pains in the ass. I just very recently got obliterated in a match because I kept getting these low mana cost cards with like 1 attack bonus that could not overcome the armor of my opponent's frontline creature. Arguably one of the best features on this list. Now the 5th and final feature that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is flank. Now flank is a very powerful feature because whenever another creature attacks, that flank creature can flank against any frontline creatures that your opponent has. So say for instance an enemy character has 3 creatures with frontline, they're all stacked up in the front, and you'd have to whittle away all of those frontline creatures in order to get to the enemy god. But if you have a creature with flank on your side, I can use like a very easy low mana cost card, attack one of those things, open up my Aether Battle Scout for flank, and then they can attack the god directly. And if you stack a bunch of creatures with flank with a couple of your own creatures that have frontline, it's very difficult to counter and really, really handy. I use flank all the time, especially in my Deception deck. There's a lot of assassin type features and things like that that have flank so that you can get around frontline and deal damage directly to a god. So very powerful feature. But to sum it up, you guys, those are the 5 features to look for in cards when you're looking at Gods Unchained, in my experience so far. Frontline, protected, deadly, armor, and flank. Those are 5 awesome features to look for in any card that you have in your deck. I highly recommend that you make sure to experiment and figure out how to get more creatures with those abilities into your decks, because you will find that you're gonna win more matches if you have a lot of creatures with those features in your decks. But that has been it for today, guys. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, do all the things that you're supposed to do if you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Did I get it right? Are there any features that you expected to be on this list that you didn't see? Let me know what you think should have made the list but didn't down in the comments below. But that's been it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, we appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, game it till you make it. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.